Hey, this is Mark Butler, the messenger, coming to you first of all to discuss a topic that has been heavily on my mind lately and is becoming more and more relevant. It's called the topic of interdependency. And I want to explain to you what it is and why it's relevant into today's time. See, lately I've been paying attention to social media. And I've been looking at a lot of topics lately that have been very controversial towards the end of the year, which is usual. But now even more so, I'm not looking at what's happening. I'm looking at the responses to what's happening and asking myself, as I always do, which is why. You know, everyone has a reason for doing something or else they would not do it, right? So I say, why do we respond the way we respond sometimes? And it comes to me like we are becoming more and more polarized with everything, which only contributes to the racism, to this the segregation, to everything. It's like we can't label something. We don't identify with something unless we place a label on it. You know, what color are you? Where are you from? What state you're from? What part of the state you're from? What part of the country you're from? What's your ethnicity? What's your race? What's your religion? What's your creed? We put all of those things together, and once we finally accumulated all this information about one person, now we feel comfortable because why? We know how to treat you now. It's not if all those things would not matter unless I'm trying to find a way to respond to you. You know, it's just like an animal or something of that sort. I need to know exactly what type of animal it is, because in order to do that, now I know exactly if I should be afraid, if I should treat him a certain way, you know, if it should be, if I should be nice, or if I should be open and comfortable, or should I be protected and reserved. This is how we actually treat people. You know, and it's getting more and more out of control and ridiculous, man, because life is not meant to be that way. I remember years ago, I remember reading a book by Dr. Steve Covey. He wrote this book called The 7 Habits of Highly Successful People. And in that book, he said that there were actually 3 stages that a human being goes through in order to achieve success in life. 1 was dependency. 2 was independency, and 3 was the one I want to talk to you about, which is interdependency. Now, dependency is actually the 7 years of a child's development. That's when the subconscious is mostly open, you know, and because the subconscious accepts everything as true, which is why a child is always curious and asking why this, why that, why this, and why that. The most curious part of the child's life is going to be in the first 7 years, because that's the way of development. Okay, so that's why it's important that we pay attention to what we do in front of a child as opposed to what we say, because they'll pay attention to our actions, and our actions are what helps develop the mind frame of the child. Now, second stage, once they feel like they've developed something, now this time that they start going into an independent stage, like, okay, well, I'm feeling myself a little bit. I'm making a name for myself. So now they're going about, like, I can do this by myself. I kind of know what I want to do. This is when the self-image, the image of the person has come into place, when they put things together and they kind of know what they want to do with their life, and they start trying to head in that direction. The third stage, which is interdependency. Interdependency means that no matter what goes on in this world, we will come right back around full circle once again and need one another. That's the whole purpose. Needing one another. It's not about where you're from, who you're from, why you're from, what color you are, what grade you are, what you like, what you don't like, what your orientation is. All of that doesn't really matter when it comes to your purpose. I've watched so many people miss their true purpose or not amass the fullness thereof, because they already have in their mind who they want to receive it from, where they want to go, who they want to mess with, and why. The whole thing that we are designed to do, God created all of us with an end result in mind. Before he even began step 1, he already had the end already down. That's exactly what's in all of us. When you were born, your purpose for being here was already embedded inside of you. Whom it's supposed to come from, where it's supposed to come from, what state, what creed, what color, what religion, what belief and non-belief. That was not the part of the plan. That's not inside of you. That's in your mind. That's not inside of you. So we have to get past that development stages, or we're going to always be in stage 2, independent. And I see so many people that are limited, not limitless, limited in their struggle, in their journey, because they are still trying to be independent. Watch 5, 10, 20 different people, multi-talented. If they just only knew that they can use their gifts in order to work together, they would have accomplished so much success by now. But they are still in their own personal struggling battles. Why? Because they still haven't got it yet. Still ain't got it. The sad part about life sometimes is that the saddest part of life is that so many people would die not knowing the real reason why they were chosen to live. That's the sad part. As you have so many people that say, oh, I know how to do this myself. I can save that money. I know how to do this myself. I can save that money. I know how to do this. I know how to do that. I can learn how to do this and I can do that. And I ain't got to worry about messing with nobody. Life was not designed to be that way. You want to know the real reason why, as human beings, we can actually use our mind to accumulate so many ideas that we have amassed enough ideas to last for the next 20 or 30 years from now, and actually be labeled as being of one of the few human beings that's being ahead of our time. But yet we still haven't managed to accumulate more than 24 hours worth of energy. Why is that? I'll tell you why. Because it wasn't meant to. Your energy level will always be limited, because the simple fact is, as long as you are in this human body, you can only do so much. Now, why would everything else be by design but not that? Because you were not designed to be great alone. You were designed with the potential to be great and accumulate and achieve greatness. So there is greatness within you, but greatness does not guarantee great. Do not confuse the two. You have the potential to be great, but there is no one who achieved greatness alone. No one. It's not designed for you to be that way. Therefore, the law would guarantee that you would never have it. So decide to be decisive and choose whom you will serve. And whom you serve would never come in the form of what you would like, but in the form of what you would need to accomplish your goal for this day. So when you think about it, the next time you make your decisions, when you pray for something, when you believe for something, when you make your affirmations for the end result, not the steps on how you want to get there. The end result alone. If you create in the likeness, then you can co-create in the same likeness. That means that you set the end. You speak on the end, and that's it. The rest is not your problem. You let God do the rest, or the universe, or whatever you may call it. You let it pull the rest, because when you follow the direction that you're supposed to follow, and that's it. That's it. That's it. Stop putting stipulations on your own blessing, because when you put stipulations on your blessing, you limit yourself. Stipulations or limitations. Say that with me. Stipulations equal limitations. We are designed to create. We are put here to create. We are put here to create and be the highest form of our expression. Why? Because we are God's highest form of creation. Hey, I'm Mark Butler. I appreciate you for this time. I advocate in self-motivation through personal development and empowerment. So every time I encourage you to keep fighting. Take care.